Good evening, we're sat here in Pipebomb Towers and a historic 20th edition of the 30-minute pipe bomb. As always, as you know, we do like to have a lot of fun and a lot of joking debates here on the pipe bomb, but now and again we do decide to take things a little dark and a little more serious, as you know, with the Scott Hall and the Going Where their special about Chris Benoit. Tonight we've touched on the subject a lot in our pipe bombs, but we want to go into it in some serious major depth, and that is the WWE Wellness Policy. As you know, it's been in force for a few years, and it's kind of been brought more to the forefront again with Matt Seidel, otherwise known in WWE as Evan Bourne. As we know, Matt Seidel failed 2 wellness policy violations, very, very quick succession, which normally, even by WWE standards, very rare. The first one was for smoking synthetic marijuana, and then promptly comes back after his 30-day suspension, only to fail a second test for something completely unrelated. To start the ball rolling, Evan Bourne actually then tweeted, mentioning along the lines that the WWE's wellness policy is flawed, along the lines of the doctors treat varying levels of concussion, and the concussion testing system is flawed. So if that's flawed, is the wellness policy flawed? Without going into, over details with regards to it. WWE's policy is synthetic marijuana smoking and being caught doing it gets you a 30-day suspension, while smoking the real deal gets you a $2,500 fine. So, is the WWE Wellness Policy flawed? Is it designed to protect top talent? And more importantly, can it be used as an excuse to send talent out of WWE in, this format? So, tonight, as you know, I'm AMAC. We've got Joey T's with us, Stocko's here, and Dickie. Like we said, it is a serious topic, boys. Is the wellness policy flawed? Is it designed to protect the top talent?
I wouldn't say it's designed to protect top talent. I think it's a lot more lenient to the top talent, and I think it's a case of if you're in the top 4, top 8 wrestlers of the company, and you're
Vince likes you,
they're definitely more lenient towards you. How many 30-day injuries has John Cena had in his WWE career, which have been questionable?
This is something.
That's a big debate.
Yeah, we did discuss tongue in cheek a while back, and I mentioned it. And I remember back before Pipe Bomb days, I remember both Dickie and Mick, chuckling at me, coming out with what was a perceived conspiracy theory.
When Cena come back for the Rumble, after his pec come completely away from his chest, and he was back 33 days later to win the Rumble in 2008, I think it was.
Yeah, Randy
Orton recently as well. Yeah. He was meant to be out for 6 months with herniated discs or something, and he's back
within 30 days.
30 odd days, 28, 30 days later.
Evan Bourne has also insinuated that not just were there low to mid card talent at this party where he was caught smoking this, what's it called? Spice, yeah. Medical marijuana, herbal. But not only were top card talent there, but main event talent, and main event talent who were going into main event matches at Survivor Series and beyond. Now, obviously, at the time, everyone went, Ron Killings. Yeah. But it's since, again, if Evan Bourne, Matt Seidel is to be believed, everyone at that party was smoking it. So, by everyone at that party smoking it, you need to run right through the Survivor Series card. And again, surprisingly, you're coming up with names. John Cena.
It is the thing, though, with being at a party where people are smoking drugs, you're inhaling it anyway. Yeah, so, would they technically be banned then? You know what I mean? It just seems to be. I would say it was flawed because these are all self-employed guys. Yeah. These all have to pay their own medical bills and stuff like that, unless, again, Vince likes them. Or they get injured, a major injury doing a show. Yeah. I just think if someone wants to go and have a little joint after work, It's up to them.
If you think about it, it is harsh for them to enforce that because they're on the road a lot. They're driving from place to place. Most of them get like 2 or 3 hours a night sleep. Some of them may need that just to put them to bed, to get a decent night's kip, to get up the next day and do the same thing all over again.
I think it's a bit more. It's a bit worse when you start like hitting the cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to discuss in a bit like some wrestlers' deaths due to mostly cocaine and various other drugs. But doing a 20 bag of cocaine every couple of nights or whatever and having a couple of spliffs here and there, I don't think you should get.
I agree. The punishment. It's
yeah.
At the end of the day, look at the 4 of us in the jobs that we do. If we go to work the next day having done a 20 bag of coke and they decide to piss test us, we're out the door.
Yeah.
It's game over.
I'm not.
No.
I
understand that, and none of us here do it, so it's not that wouldn't actually affect us. But what I mean is, it seems strange that someone can smoke not even real drugs,
synthetic,
and get 30 days. Someone can be on all sorts of crazy ass painkillers that they take constantly and get 30 days. It seems to me to be.
Yeah, that's it. The punishment should match the drug in a sense.
The simple answer is just don't smoke it then. You go and get suspended.
But that's it's easy to say that though.
Yeah, easy said.
But you wouldn't go into work and light up a joint outside because you would get fired. But these guys driving 6-hour flight from one side of America to the other, and then a 200-mile drive to some shitty little bingo hall somewhere where they do the house shows and that. Do you know what I mean?
Punk manages it alright.
That's one person.
Yeah, I was going to say he's one of the few probably who again is straight edge.
How many people do you know? You say you know a few hundred people. You don't know one of them that's straight edge. The odds of you knowing someone,
to be fair,
someone being straight edge.
You and I work in call centres, and we all know.
I work with functioning drug addicts.
Yeah, I mean, how many people do we here have Monday morning colds?
Yeah.
I've just done a bunny ear thing there, and they've got that Monday morning cold every Monday morning.
Well, yeah, let's put it this way. Look at this one individual we both worked with who wouldn't go to work unless he'd had a joint, and on his dinner he'd go home and have one. And if he hadn't, he wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at WWE.
We're not, just to get out of the way, we're not justifying drugs in any means whatsoever. None of us take it, and we despise all drugs. Just to get that clear.
Except alcohol.
I've
cracked the carriage Stella open, so I can't be a hypocrite.
We're not looking to justify drugs, just the severity of the punishment, depending on the drugs that they're
Don't
taking.
forget, this got brought to the forefront for a twofold reason. One, because we're allowed to mention him, Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And don't forget that not just, obviously, again, as you well know, we don't condone everything he did, but it opened the whole house of cards and brought all that down with the drug system that was in place for people basically getting prescriptions written for them by a shaman doctor who get them whatever drugs they wanted while they were on the road.
Yeah.
But the second reason this got opened was the concussion of Christopher Nowinski.
Yes.
Because Christopher Nowinski didn't let it drop and went into the brain studies injury, he basically, I mean, fair play to Nowinski, he's one of the rare people that bullied WWE into taking a good long hard look at themselves.
Yeah. He got given a chance by WWE, and then obviously due to the way the WWE wrestled at the time with the chair shots to the head and stuff, his career was over before it began.
Yeah.
He was decent. He was.
We don't know where he'd have gone.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have been him instead of Cena. He's better than Maven. Yeah. To be honest, though, dude, you could probably walk down the street and get somebody who was better than Maven. In all fairness, but that's not. Yeah. His career was ended due to him getting like 58 concussions in 2 weeks and still getting made to wrestle.
Yeah.
Now, if you get a concussion, what is it? 6 weeks? Is it something like that?
In rugby union and rugby league, if you are declared concussed, it's an automatic 2-week cessation, and by cessation I mean you can't train. You stay at home for 2 weeks. If it's your second concussion of the season, it's between 4 and 6 weeks, depending on how you were graded by both club doctor and a second opinion.
Well, look, let's look at
Randy Orton's recently been diagnosed with having a concussion.
Did he hurt his leg?
It was his back, wasn't it? But I mean, just recently he had a concussion as well.
Which is why he's not in the Elimination Chamber tonight.
Now again, whether that was a legit concussion or a kayfabe one, we don't know. But I think is it 6 weeks that they have off if they get a concussion,
I think it's 4
weeks or something like that. Yeah, it's a month or something like that. And they're probably fine after a week or two.
Yeah.
But because of this, it's sort of the WWE feel that they have to, protect the guys, which is fine. It's excellent. Like I said, we've got a list here of.
Yeah, well, just before we get on to that, look at when it came out. The wellness policy came into play. Jesus, almost at the end of February, 27th of February, 2006. Right? Now it took up to 2006, various deaths, injuries, wrestlers' careers, all this. Well, let's say arguably from 1976. So you're talking it took them 30 years to get to this stage where they bring a policy in place to protect the talent and look after them.
It took Vince beating an FBI indictment.
Yeah.
Where, at the time his top talent and his best friend Hulk Hogan testified for the FBI.
Yeah.
And Vince still beat that rap.
Yeah.
So I can see, playing devil's advocate, I can see why Vince thought he was unbeatable. I mean, if I was the head of that company, I thought, shit, the FBI haven't got me.
Yeah.
I'm unfucking touchable here.
Yeah, I'm bulletproof.
But it did. It took wrestlers' deaths. I mean, we're going to run through a list. I mean, if Michael, you want to run through it, and then if you have a look when we're running through the list, try and have a little think in your head of when they wrestled as well.
Yeah.
The majority of them were all sort of like 80s, 90s. There's obviously a couple that were late 70s as well. But the guys who we're about to mention, some of the deaths may not have been from an actual overdose or anything like that, but the amount of drugs that they have known to have taken during the career just to get up in the morning, just to get ready for the show, whatever they took it for. You know what I mean? You're looking at like Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Perfect, Big Boss Man, Big John Studd. There's a couple of people on here that I didn't know had died from a drug related condition. Rick Rude, Miss Elizabeth, Eddie Guerrero, Benoit himself, about 19 of the Von Erichs. I don't even know how many of them have.
To be honest, I think it was like 5 or 6 of them.
A lot of them have.
Chipman's still alive.
A lot of them have. I'm sorry, that's dicky for you. A lot of them killed themselves, didn't they?
Yeah.
A few of them killed themselves due to the drugs and stuff. Crash Holly, British Bulldog, Hawk, Sherry Martel, Bam Bam, Test, and Umaga. They're guys who have been champions. Mostly all WWE guys. I know some of the Von Erichs didn't actually wrestle for WWE, but they're well known on the regional wrestling and basically across the country.
If you think about it though, if we look, it just shows, and again, it shows a trend of where going from mid 80s to early 90s onwards, how the drug phase came into wrestling and how many people it messed up. Look, I mean, Steve Williams, Perfect, Bossman, Studd, they're all late 80s wrestlers going into early 90s.
Big John Studd was around there earlier on.
Well, he won Royal Rumble 89.
Yeah.
Sorry, Royal Rumble 90. So, it's mid to late 80s.
Most of these guys on the list went from the territories to the nationals.
Yeah.
When it boiled down to, again, don't get us wrong, we're not sat here doing it, let's piss on WWE, because WWE brought it in. WCW didn't bring anything like this in when they were running. TNA, God knows what they do behind closed doors. The National Wrestling Alliance didn't have anything. The AWA didn't have anything like this. So at the time, you still had the AWA left, WCW as it was, the National Wrestling Alliance, and WWF.
Yeah.
So you still had, it wasn't like we're sat here going, this all happened when Vince started taking over.
No.
It wasn't.
A lot of these probably came to Vince with the drug problems at the same time.
Very possible, but then the amount of time they spend on the road in WWE is like no other company. I know TNA have started doing a lot more house shows, so they are on the road a little bit
back
more.
in the 80s, the AWA travelled as much.
Oh,
the AWA travelled as much.
Yeah.
I mean, we've read the books of the classic wrestlers. Flair's Ultimate Tale, alright, it's an alcohol one. Well, Harley Race, driving at 80 miles an hour in a snowstorm, when he hands the bottle of Southern Comfort in the back seat to Flair and putting the light on to make sure Flair's drinking it. You know, you got the ultimate
same applies, doesn't it? You know, the drinking or doing drugs. Obviously, the wellness policy doesn't cover the just like having a drink, but it, you know, I suppose if someone is turning up, someone's turning up bladdered, then you know they are going to get it. Will get amended.
You got the story of Sheik and Duggan being sacked for smoking a joint together in the car. They got pulled over. And it was like, shit, we've got a heel and a face in the same car. As we know, I mean, anyone who's seen, you know, Beyond the Mat and stuff like that, Jake Roberts had the black book.
Yeah.
Now, we've got Jake on a pending death list. It sounds terrible to say we've got a Deadpool running, but we've got 5 names on it. Scott Hall is on there.
Scott Hall was just like first
without question.
Into the head,
we've left the Hardy brothers on there because for I don't know, speaking for the guys here, I am personally, but Jeff and Matt Hardy, I think, are the modern case of what happens when the big lights go out.
Yeah.
Fair play, they had careers in TNA. Matt now more so than Jeff, ironically. Matt Hardy became the prime example of what happens when your shoulders are on the mat, you look at the lights for 3 count for the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Hardy, everyone knows that he has had major drug problems. Even on the verge of, he actually went to prison for a bit, didn't he? Yeah.
Did he burn his house down?
He didn't.
His house was burnt down. His house was burnt down. Obviously, conspiracy theories.
Yeah. You know, and good luck to Jeff. He seems to be
turning it round.
You know, he's obviously had some help off TNA, which fair play to them. I mean, Matt even got this new bird, this Reba Sky. I don't even know what the hell she does,
but she
seems to be helping
around,
him.
Yeah.
But all it takes is for one injury. You know, one thing, Matt Hardy could get dumped and he could go, do you know what, fuck this.
Yeah, what's the point?
I'm going off my tits again. Jeff Hardy could do a swanton land, or could he break his shoulder, whatever.
Yeah.
He's out for a year, 6 months, whatever.
Yeah.
He's forward home.
To finish off the pending death list, we had Scott Hall, Matt and Jeff Hardy, but again, they're half in, half out. China is an important one, I think, to go on there because that girl is in a dark place at the moment.
And she's sort of like
there's no way out at the moment.
No.
I mean, if any of you follow her on Twitter and things like that, do you know what? Normally we do pimp out Twitter account. Even as a wrestling fan, if you are, it's car crash to read. She sent something like 400 tweets in a night to Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan isn't a poor bastard. You know, do you know what I mean? Piers Morgan deserves everything he gets, but I wouldn't put 400 tweets off a cracked off me head China.
No.
Did he respond to any? He probably won't even know who she is.
Probably not. But
I think she's been on his show, you know.
In America. I mean, again, as we know, China's gone into the adult film industry and has just done literally a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Parody porn.
It's a parody porn, basically, where
wrestling porn.
Yeah, it's basically a wrestling porno where she reenacts a Royal Rumble where 9 lookalikes take it in turns, or maybe not even take it in turns.
To go through.
You basically run the same through it, yeah.
Dickie's hoping to download this when Jem's gone to bed. Good luck with that.
I don't need to download it twice.
Because you haven't had the balls to download it the first time.
We had one good thing that we did, which is a really important part.
We forgot more off the list.
We forgot the last of the 80s, guys.
Yeah.
One of the most famous,
Mr. Black Book himself.
Yeah. Jake Roberts.
How that man's not dead, I don't know.
I don't know how he's not dead, but again, he's on the pending because, again, Mick's right, one slip.
You know, apparently he's been clean for over a year now. And or about a year. And again, fair play. You know, if you can give anything up and keep off it, whatever it is, fucking fair play to you. But again, something bad could happen to him, and
one disaster, one tragedy.
He goes to the wrong pub or the wrong party or whatever he does.
Yeah.
Someone hands him a bag, he's right back where he is.
Right back.
But on the flip side of this, we've got another list, a bit more of a
happy
nicer list, and this is guys that have been helped by the WWE.
Yeah, it's
not just for getting off the drugs, because there is a guy on there, excuse me, that got randomly tested, MVP, and he passed the test, but they found a problem with his heart, and he didn't know he had it, so he could have well died. So the wellness policy does have its good points, but we've got guys on the list like William Beagle.
Saved his life.
You've read his book, or you've read his interviews, or watched his interviews, and you know he was in so much trouble. We've got Jeff and Matt Hardy on the list again. Again, we've got Jake Roberts. Then you've got other people like Road Dogg, X-Pac. They're guys who were crazy.
Yeah. Scott Hall's been through rehab, but again...
Scott Hall's been through rehab 10 times before...
It's double figures. We don't even know how many.
10 plus.
Yeah. So, you know, Sonny as well, she seems to have sorted herself out.
Yeah.
If the rumours are to be believed, she'd do anything for a 20 bag of coke back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is probably the most famous one.
That's the biggest name on there. That saved his life and his career. Same as Regal, it saved his life and his career, but Michaels more than any.
Regal, sadly, had hit a peak of his as he was getting a good push.
Yeah.
You know, again, there was rumours he was going to get a title run.
Yeah.
He was King of the Ring.
Yes.
You know, usually you're at King of the Ring, you're getting pushed on
the way up
for at least the title picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then obviously he got suspended, and he's never really hit those heights again.
No.
But it does have its place. But again, it boils down to the basically the crime of having a spliff to them is the same as getting coked off your tickets.
I mean, again, something we need to praise WWE for is that anyone who's ever worked
in any capacity
for the company is allowed to turn around, phone Stanford and go, I need help, and they will bankroll it. Again, I don't know many companies, once you're out the door, I couldn't see a Barclays doing it, I couldn't see a Ministry of Defence doing it. You know, I couldn't see companies like that saying,
we'll pay to...
When you're out the door, you're out the door.
You're not even allowed back on the fucking premises in most companies once you've gone out.
McMahon said it best when she said, if you've ever been part of this family, we're there for you, and that's exactly what
we covered it in the Scott Hall one, where Stephanie McMahon said that they've spent well over six figures?
6 figures.
6 figures on Scott Hall alone. Now, alright, it is $1 billion company, but I wouldn't want to have to give a few £100.
Well, that's it. That's for someone who they're not going to make that money back on.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to just give a few £100 of my money to people to go to rehab or whatever. Better. Exactly. They're doing something that, like Anthony said, no other companies do. Mm-hmm. Once you're gone, you're gone. You know, and it's just a crazy situation. It's got its low points, but that is something that is really, really good.
I'll something else out there. Do you reckon this is Linda McMahon's got anything to do with this wellness policy?
Well, it would have been something.
Yeah, she's on the board,
she's obviously running for a Senate again, and she's been doing that for a few years now. But she would have got involved in that. I'm certain she would have. Yeah. Whether it was her idea or whether...
Yeah, we don't know where it's come from, whether it's just a board decision. I think it did come too little too late for certain individuals who it could have helped and kept alive. Guerrero and Benoit being the two biggest. You know, if anything, it could have kept them alive. I mean, looking down the list. Even again, if it had come out in the 90s, it wouldn't have made that... I don't think the drugs... side of it probably wasn't that bad until coming to, I was going to say, the end of the Attitude Era.
The name that's jumping out of my list there of who it could have helped was Sherry Martel.
Yeah.
The reason I'm not putting Perfect in, no one saw it coming with Perfect.
Yeah.
Until
he was back
until Perfect died.
Yeah.
Until Perfect died, I never knew how. It was a coke overdose. Bossman, I didn't really see that one coming.
No,
especially with the drugs. Miss Elizabeth, I didn't see coming, but then there was the whole thing with Luger, things like that. But Sherry Martel. Now, do you know what? Yeah. Back when I started watching in the 80s, same like when Shawn Michaels said, she was like reverse wrestling, hello.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't have Sherry Martel down as the coke snorting, weed smoking, whiskey drinking type.
But again, if you surround yourself with certain people long enough,
I agree. Yeah.
You're going to try things, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Behaviour breeds behaviour.
It does, and some people just, she's took a sniff and gone, I like this. And she's on the road for however long, bags are getting passed around,
I think one thing that stands out though, her and Miss Elizabeth on that list, just real big standouts.
Much as I love Randy Savage, all of a sudden it kind of makes sense with Liz, because if Savage was as jealous and possessive as he said, Liz needed some kind of escape.
Yeah. So where was her escape? And again, that's not us saying he drove her to it, but it could be a telling factor.
Again, I think I've decided to take on the role of devil's advocate on this.
Macho Man we haven't mentioned until just now, because obviously he died driving his car.
Yeah, a fairly normal death in terms of professional wrestling.
Now, Dickie did say before we started rolling, is it because of the drugs? And it could well be, but his cause of death, no drugs were mentioned.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not on this list. We all know, we've all seen the mid-80s, late 80s interviews with Macho Man, and he's an advert for not ever doing drugs.
Yeah.
Really. Because he's obviously a lunatic in them.
Or a deterrent.
Yeah. But, back then, you could get away with it, and especially if you were going out night after night, putting on 4 and 5 star matches, which is what he did. Which again, if it helps him, we're not condoning it in any way. But obviously, that's how some of these guys got through. Were able to to wrestle.
I think with the wellness policy, I don't know how true it is. I think as well as them testing them for all this, they've relaxed the working schedule a lot too to cater in. From doing 300 dates a year, 320 dates a year.
They tend to have how many dates a year in the contract now, don't they?
That's it, so it limits it a lot more. I think that's where TNA have got a lot more out of doing a lot of house shows.
They'll say you'll do 150 shows for us a year.
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, you can either choose to take some time off.
Yeah.
They can choose to give you time off.
Yeah.
Or...
And look, they've got a lot more out of Kurt Angle than WWE would have. He'd have been dead by now.
Don't forget with TNA, if you don't work, you don't get paid. Most of the WWE talent have guaranteed contracts.
Yeah. But with TNA, it's that relaxed in its format and the setup. There's no issue with them going to work. It's only if they get injured where they won't go. Kurt Angle's just got another 10 years out of a career, whereas if he'd have stayed with WWE, he'd have either died or been a cripple. He's trying for the Olympics this year. There's no way he'd have got that far if he was at WWE. No way.
To slide it a little bit, and to be honest, being as mad wrestling fans as we all are, this is something that annoys the living piss out of me, and it is the written and spoken press. Hollywood and the music industry buried tragic, heartbroken, brave, courageous Whitney Houston yesterday.
20 years.
He's been a 20-year crackhead.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, the big boss man, Kurt Hennig, died of a similar drugs overdose. Oh, it's the wrestling business. Oh, what a hard schedule they live. What? So you're telling me in Hollywood, in LA, in Vegas, in New York, in London, Sydney, Dubai, where all these parties are happening, where big rock stars are there. I'm sorry, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all died of drugs overdoses. They're not seen as drug addicts.
No.
They joined the 27 Club.
Yeah.
It's a fucking exclusive club. Because you died as a rock star of a drugs overdose at the age of 27.
Well done,
So, I reckon we should get the list up. Do you know what? Let's do it. Well done. So, you know, to all the wrestlers who died of drug overdoses, congratulations. You joined
an exclusive club.
You joined the Wolfpack Club, so to speak. Well done. You died a wrestling death.
It is crazy that with you mentioning them. I actually had a discussion with somebody in work yesterday because they were telling me how upset they were about
Whitney Houston.
Let's
not go too far off the top of the wrestling too.
But I you know,
comparing contrast
drugs definitely.
And I said, but she was a crackhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she made some good songs. Well, yeah, that's all well and good.
Chris Benoit wrestles some of the greatest matches we've ever seen in our lives.
There could be a crackhead outside who's the best fucking guitar player in the world ever.
Does Hollywood have a wellness policy?
No.
Motown?
No.
RCA?
No.
Geffen?
No.
Sony?
No.
You could pretty much... Well, yeah, it's a well-known fact. I mean, especially in certain genres of music. Hip-hop, for example. They're all in there getting stoned off the tits in the recording studio. Rock stars. They have fucking plates of cocaine going around rooms and that.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad. The wrestling industry causes these people to...
Do ITV have a wellness? Hang on. Yeah. Do ITV have a wellness policy on the set of Corrie? No. BBC for EastEnders? No.
Didn't they sack one of them for being a little bit of a druggie?
What, and then promptly send them to rehab and reinstate them 6 weeks later and write them off the storyline? But do they have a regular wellness policy? Craig Charles has kept his job.
Yeah, he was caught on the back of a taxi.
This is what I mean. I'm not doing it to take it off the wellness policy, to compare and contrast.
Yeah.
If you're a drug addict in Hollywood, Charlie Sheen was the coolest thing on the fucking planet last year.
Oh yeah, because he was a drug addict, because he was off his face.
I think that it could possibly have been all the threesomes with porn stars he was having that made him a little bit cooler.
Syphilis wrecked his brain.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those wrestlers have never told stories of orgies.
That is a very, very good point that you've made.
Yeah.
You can't
celebrate a man because he's off his tits saying about tiger blood and fucking harmless children and make him a hero.
And he's awesome.
Yeah, but then condone people.
But yeah, every time a wrestler dies, you've got Jesse Ventura, you've got superstar Billy Graham, you've got the biggest motherfucking hypocrite of all, the ultimate smackhead warrior, coming out and going, you know...
if you can understand what he says, that is.
You know, it does. The same shit happens every time. Bruno Sammartino trots his line out. Superstar Billy Graham trots his shit out. Jesse Ventura, because he's not running for governor or doesn't need any more money off Vince, trots his shit out. Warrior trots his shit out.
He does that
just to stay in, try and stay in some sort of limelight.
But again, it comes back down to it. These help.
Yeah, WWE, the only company, the only business who are trying to look after their people.
Yeah, and
in a way,
you've got to thank. Well, you know, if you're a family member of some of the guys that have got the issues and who are getting rehab's not cheap. Don't know how expensive it is, but it's not cheap.
No,
do you know what I mean? You read about it, £1,000 a week, £1,000 a day, shit like that. I wouldn't have the money to pay for it. A lot of these wrestlers who have snorted or popped all their money through pills and that, they won't have it. So Vince to stump up this, alright, he may
in a sense
in a roundabout way have not caused it, but you know, enhanced the problem by making them work 320 days a year or whatever. But he's realised that, and
he's doing something about it. I suppose at the same time, see, this is a good point that you made. It kind of falls down as well. He's gone out of his way to bring in the wellness policy to protect and look after the stars, but he's not treating everyone equally.
No,
because the main eventers get a free pass, get a $2.5 fine.
Yeah.
We're not. I mean, I know we've kind of named things. One of the things in this write-up that was done, that was brought up, was Mason Ryan.
I don't care what anybody says. If you're on the road that much, you cannot maintain that type of body.
Really good genetics.
He might do.
Don't forget though,
Devil tongue is looking awfully big at the moment.
He may look that good on the outside because he's training and eating this, that, and the other. His insides could be a mess. He could be just one of these guys who just eats protein shake, and porridge and looks brilliant. But the minute he eats real food, it just fucking disintegrates.
Maybe. It is.
Look at Rob Terry though and TNA when we spoke to Nigel McGuinness about it, and he said never seen the guy touch any drugs. He's just got naturally good genes to be.
Yeah, but don't forget Rob Terry's in TNA, where he works 1 day every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So has 13 days to have a regular gym lifestyle. Whereas Mason
just a regular lifestyle, full stop.
Don't forget though, Mason Ryan isn't at the moment and has not really been on TV longer than a couple of weeks. Sorry, and don't forget though, we're only talking...
But to not be on TV doesn't mean you're not running house show after house show after house show.
Agreed, but at the same time, right, if he's on TV, he's only on TV once a week.
Might be on that Superstars or NXT or something.
Exactly, but
again, you're just calling a double slot, aren't you?
That's it. It's just part of the same show. So he is technically only working 1-2 days a week, 3 days a week. That's still 4 days to go to gym, and he can go in any gym. I'm not I'm not saying he's not on drugs or anything, but you know, to look at it from the other side as well.
When
he
you
probably has had a hard time of it.
When you look at him, and then you look at someone like CM Punk. CM Punk's in decent enough shape. Do you know what I mean?
Look at Daniel Bryan, he's a vegetarian.
Daniel Bryan, he's a vegan, mate.
Sorry,
he's
vegan?
He's not even,
Yeah.
He doesn't eat anything other than fucking rice and bits of corn or something.
Yeah.
Vegans are crazy, by the way.
The teal of North Korean children, stuff like that.
Because they taste so sweet.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry. no, Mason.
Yeah, sorry.
Punk looking like he does.
And Mason looking like he does. You can't compare to even Triple H sometimes when
looks a little bit.
Yeah, he looks borderline fucking steroided up. Cena is another one. You'll see him sometimes and he'll come out not looking flabby but looking a bit more relaxed. A couple of weeks later, he'll be ripped to shit, and you're just like.
I mean, with the likes of Cena and Triple H, and it may well be the same case for Mason Ryan. David sees there was another one. Triple H and John Cena were bodybuilders before they were wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mason Ryan, it wouldn't surprise me if he was a bodybuilder before he was a wrestler. So the likes of Mason Ryan, you saying about the protein shakes, Mason Ryan will know how to make himself look competition good.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's not on any sort of drug. And we know Mason's a big fan of the show.
So sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's Dickie who's saying all this bad stuff about him, by the way.
No, the reason we're bringing it up, actually, we're going to shit out of this, is because Evan Bourne actually singled you out.
Yeah, it's Evan Bourne's fault.
Yeah, but, find Evan.
You know, there was rumours
good luck.
There was rumours not so long ago about Randy Orton failing. I know he got mentioned before when he done his back in, getting down the stairs.
Well, apparently in his early days he was suspended and banned a few times for the odd line and spliff and whatnot.
By all accounts, he should be sacked.
And shitting in bags.
Shitting in handbags.
I don't think that's against the wellness policy. Although he could have been off his tits on something
at the time.
Maybe tested it.
To be fair, that's a pretty funny story, having a shit in someone's handbag.
But
I'm sure she found it hysterical.
The thing is though, that off the topic, that apparently used to be a see around future endeavoured present.
Really?
I'm waiting for Dickie to shit in mine, like.
Alright, well, I mean,
all in all,
one thing that we mentioned, which we'll go into now, about the wellness policy, this, that and the other, and the more relaxed schedule, do you think it's made wrestlers softer? Not as willing to push themselves as much because they don't have to, as we mentioned before, guaranteed contract money, guaranteed dates.
If I was a wrestler in the Attitude Era, and if I gave a shit about my job, I would be banging Vince's door down every night saying, what do I need to do to be in the ring with Austin, be in the ring with Rock,
like
Taker. If I was getting into the business now, and I was a decent, alright, I'm a big fella, but I was a decent big fella, and I could hit big moves, and I could win the odd matches, and be mid-card, US title shots, stuff like that, for 100, 150 grand a year for 200 nights a week, I'd sit on my ass and do just enough to get by. Why would I need?
That's it. If you're
from my point of view, I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, pride.
But nowadays, the title now, doesn't mean as much as it did 10 years ago.
No, and that's it. We're old school. That's our thing. We're old school.
You could say that about really any sport. Football is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your players now play for money.
Yeah.
You don't play. You still get the odd few.
You've got these youth players who play a couple of games for the reserves, get a 3-year contract, and think, right, I've made it.
That Daniel Sturridge who plays for Chelsea has apparently said if Chelsea don't qualify for the Champions League, he'll be seeking a move.
Who the fuck is he?
To be honest with you, it's starting to creep into rugby now as well. Rugby union's got more money in, rugby league's getting more money in, so you have got players who are very happy. I mean, I've never knew rugby league, especially when you were 31, 32, you're looking for a pub to run, you're looking for a teaching degree.
Yeah.
But there are more and more rugby players now, especially in union, I should say, who now, because there's a wage cap in England and there isn't in France, the number of 34, 35-year-olds who are signing 2-3 year deals to prolong their career in France know they're going to get 200 grand a season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, get the sun on me back for 3 years. But going back to the wrestling, yeah, I mean, the prime case is you have, 45-year-old Triple H against 52, 53-year-old Undertaker 3 at WrestleMania with 48-year-old Shawn Michaels who's going to be the guest ref.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Last of a dying breed because the mid-card talent don't give a fuck. They've got their contract.
We will go on. We will lighten this up in a bit because we will go on and do our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. But we looked at the 12 men who were in that chamber, and before Dickie got here, the three of us were chatting, and we said, if you'd have told us 12 months ago, these were the 12 men who were going to compete in the dual main event in the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, I think we'd have only put one, maybe two people in there and gone, yeah, he's a lock for
it. That's it. 12 months ago, for the Elimination Chamber, if we were going to pick out of the 12 that are there, we'd have maybe got 3 or 4 picks of being in the match.
But not just that, I mean,
potential winners. Yeah, I agree.
We will go. I think we'll go on to that in more detail, and I think as part of I think we should go with lock, filler.
Yeah.
Because I know one person, especially in the Raw one, who was a lock and is now a filler. But we'll discuss that.
Yeah, we'll move on to that. Well, that just shows the lack of ambition. I mean, the wellness policy has made a big difference to the WWE landscape in that it's looking after everyone. It's making sure that everyone's healthy and doing the right thing. But yeah, it's just I don't know what the right word to use is. A lot of people just settle now.
Yeah, it is. People settle. It's easy now to do very little and get guaranteed money.
And sorry, go on.
No.
And for a pro wrestler, there's not many more places to go now. Back in the 70s, 80s and 90s, if you failed to the WWF, you could go to AWA, you could go to Mid-Atlantic, you could go to Florida, you could go to the Carolinas, you could go to the Crockett's, you could go to LA.
There's still a lot of places for people to go,
but the money
drop a hell of a lot. Ring of Honor don't pay people 200 grand a year.
No.
You know, the local, the New Japan, alright, the Japan companies, you probably get a lot.
But if you're a big man,
completely different style of wrestling.
If you're a big fella, you're not going to work in Japan. They won't take you.
Got that.
Giant Bernard, have a word with Giant Bernard, see what he is.
No, but you know what I mean. Mason Ryan won't be a main eventer in Japan.
Oh, he won't be a main eventer in fucking America.
No, but you know what I mean. I mean that's a case in point. Mason, this is all Evan Bourne saying this. That's what. Find Evan.
You're scared of Mason Ryan, you big girl.
He's only juice. You'll fucking bang him out.
Yeah.
Lay one on his chin.
But
anyone got a camera tripod? Oh no, I'll end up whacking you.
Yeah, probably. I'll burn you and shoot you though, so don't worry about it.
Get me a bottle of Bacardi Breeze.
Gonna get off of sports entertainment and back into wrestling.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, no, going back to what we were saying then, the mid-card talent.
Well, Triple H had a dig on Raw, didn't he?
Yeah.
We were discussing that before. He said, you know,
we're the last of the breed.
We are the last of the real proper tough
wrestling dinosaurs.
Yeah. And
they are dinosaurs. They're the last of the guys who worked 300 nights a year.
Yes.
Who worked hurt
and have hurt themselves.
Who rejected themselves to shit.
Yeah.
And just got a pat on the back offence over 30 days.
Yeah.
Hang on,
take one for the team.
Triple H, how much did he take for the team? I know people are going, but I mean, Sean did it in that Chew promo. Yeah, but you married the boss's daughter, and like I had your back and all that. And the people who were against Vince and Triple H back then were probably the guys who were shooting up and riding up and still not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the old adage, whether you're on roasties, whether you're on this wellness program, whether you've been helped by it or not, if you want to make it, most of the wrestlers' common theme books, Jericho's, Brett's, Shawn's, Flair's, you walk to the front of the queue, you knock on the door and go, Vince, I'll work my arse off. What do I have to do to make it? And every time when I've read them books, the common theme, Vince turns around and goes, you've just done it.
Yeah.
You've just done it.
You've grew some.
That's it. You look at most of the card now, and they'll probably very rarely ever speak to Vince. They'll probably never go up to him.
Let's put it
You know,
in this way,
Vince
right?
says hello to everyone when he comes in. That's fine. But you know, most of them probably won't even know where Vince's fucking office is.
I'll tell you what the main
conversation
theme.
with Evan Bourne every 30 days.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
And I'm true. Every other 30 days.
I like it.
To be fair,
I'll tell you what the theme is with all the main eventers now. Who makes the most money?
Cena.
That's what the theme is. It's not who's the most talented. So who's the best on the mic? It's not who's the best in the ring. It's not who knocks on my door. It's who you can make the most money off.
But to be fair, for CM Punk, change that to Stone Cold Steve Austin, change that to The Rock, change that to Bret the Hitman Hart, to Kevin Nash, to Shawn Michaels, to the Ultimate Warrior, to Hogan, and then in the territories, go back to a man that held the title for 9 years in Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
He wasn't good on the mic. He wasn't even a decent wrestler. But people paid to see Bruno Sammartino wrestle. And then as his title reign went on, people paid to see, have I got a ticket for the night Sammartino drops the title? And that's
the business, is the nature of it.
It changes and it'll go back, you know.
I think the point I was trying to make with that is, these guys, because look at the likes of Zack Ryder through self-promotion, got himself title shots and belts and whatnot.
A bit more main event time as well.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Punk, Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, let's just look at the independent wrestlers, right? Because Cody Rhodes is superb and he's got there literally through hard work, reinventing himself, working his balls off. CM Punk's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
But I think it's more how many t-shirts he sells, how much people love him and how it's come along. This is the only way that people make it big is by showing, right? I can make you loads of money. Cena makes more money out of t-shirts than anybody else. Not the best wrestler. We know that. I wouldn't say...
I think he gets slated a bit too much. I think it's unfair the amount of abuse he gets for being a terrible wrestler when he isn't.
No, he's not a shit wrestler. But he's got 5 moves of doom. He just sells a lot of t-shirts.
But the thing is, the fact that he's making Vince money means that the wellness program for a John Cena, a Randy Orton, can be a bit more fluid.
I was going to say, I'm certain Cena doesn't get tested very often.
Oh yeah.
I'm certain Randy Orton doesn't get tested very often. Triple H, whereas you've got the likes of possibly the mid-card guys every other week.
To be fair, much as I'm a Triple H mark, I don't think Triple H has seen the inside of a tester's cubicle for 5 years.
Oh, no, I think he will have.
Only to inspect the tests on the big cards like Evan Bourne are correct.
I think Vince will have tested everybody at some point, but I think it would have been one of them. Hunter,
we're going to test you in a couple of weeks.
He says it's independent.
To be fair, then, with
it's
wellness,
independent, dude. But if you're a $1 billion company, you can sort of make that independence come and go as you please.
All right. I mean, kind of start winding this discussion down now. If the wellness policy had been in effect for the street fight between Vince McMahon and Ric Flair, do you think Vince's name would have been on the list of people to piss test after that event?
Hell fucking no.
Any of Vince's matches, mate, to be honest with you.
But don't forget, Shane McMahon leaked one of his contracts on all the wrestling sites a few years back. Shane, as the heir apparent to the company, had to sign a separate talent contract. And that in that contract had the talent will be subject to random urine and blood sample testing for drugs, either medicinal or recreational or alcohol. The alcohol you weren't going to get banned for. It was more to like
make sure you were
pissed. Yeah. I reckon Vince wouldn't have been tested because he wouldn't have had to sign that contract.
Yeah, because
who's going to make him?
Yeah,
there's no one.
If he'd made his own son sign a contract, I mean, the board could have done. But then Linda would have had to have voted with the board.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You think about it though as well, though, he probably fights that little. He doesn't have to, because let's face it, even in his heyday, McMahon Austin, he wasn't wrestling every week. He was on TV. That's the storylines.
Yeah, but that's it. But I mean,
it's only
I think Vince himself is a prime example. But all in all, I mean, I know people probably listen to this and think we're slagging WWE off.
No,
we're not at all.
Just slagging Mason Ryan off this week.
Well, Evan Bourne slagged them off. We're just
passing on a message.
Pass on. Well, let's go around the room then.
We think
wellness policy. Hit or miss?
Hit.
I agree. Hit. So there you go.
Nicky's just about agreeing.
Pros and cons to it, as there is for everything.
But
do you know what will make it a definite hit? If a big name gets caught and a big name gets 30 days.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the big
main eventers get stung.
Mid-card talent like
Sheamus. You start to wonder.
Big talent.
That's it. We're sceptical of how legitimate.
A Cena or an Undertaker.
Right, okay. Here's one to close it on. Right. Cena, when he lost to the Nexus, was fired, but turned up on TV every week. Right? Now, was Cena banned from wrestling for 30 days and exposed a loophole?
No, he was back wrestling 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
He put his mask on and said he was Juan Cena, didn't he?
Yeah,
for the house shows and that.
Yeah, good point.
And then
to be fair, there are situations like that where you think.
We mentioned too before Cena when he won the Rumble, 2008. You know, I didn't really think too much about it then.
I think there'd be less debate and less scepticism around the wellness policy if big names were collared once or twice.
Because there's been no. I'm sure there's been big ones that have collared it.
As always,
say RVD's the biggest name.
So far,
or Mysterio and RVD are ones that have both been stung by it. So arguably, they're the two biggest names you're looking at there.
But then again, in the grand scheme of things, when you've got a Cena or an Orton, hell, do you know what would be an even bigger one? If a Punk or a Daniel Bryan got done.
Yes.
But Daniel Bryan might have got done when they pretended to sack him for choking that guy out with a tie.
So I wouldn't. Yeah, that seemed legitimate to me, to be honest. But
again, we could conspiracy theory all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, Triple H when he he did tear his quad, but you know, we could go down that route all with every single.
Every injury a wrestler's ever
we're all agreed that the wellness policy is a good thing.
It's been more hit than miss.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, as always,
shame
who knows?
Too late.
Where if that had come out, say early 2000, who knows where we would have been then?
I'd love a Rock 30-day suspension.
But see, this is it. That's it. You know.
Yeah, these are in the days when it was unheard of.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've said this all along. I don't think Rock could pass a piss test right now.
No, fucking hell no. He's far too filled with water, that lad, now.
I don't think Rock could pass a piss test.
I'm sure as part of his coming back for 3 or 4 appearances for WrestleMania, including WrestleMania, I'm sure he won't.
He'll be back tonight.
I don't think he will.
Anyway, but I'm not. Yeah,
I'm sure it's not in his contract that he would have to
take a piss test.
I reckon he's got the Pacquiao rule on there. No blood test within 30
days.
You can
give us a piss test in like 4 weeks before.
Give us a piss test halfway through G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But no piss test in the 7 weeks.
Only when I'm filming scenes with a jacket on.
Yeah.
You just seem a little bit jacked.
A little bit.
But yeah, you know.
So we've said more hit than miss. I mean, guys, you hopefully all 57 who follow us on Facebook, over 45, 50 countries worldwide on YouTube. You know, we're getting over 100 hits a week on the show. You'll have an opinion. Like we did with Benoit, like we did with Scott Hall. You've had an opinion then, you'll have an opinion now. Is it a hit? Is it a miss? You know, is it a win? Is it a fail?
Is there anyone we missed off the list?
Yeah.
Either death due to drugs, pending deaths, or people that saved.
Yeah, who do you think's on the death bill?
Yeah.
30minutepipebomb@hotmail.com. Leave messages on the 30-Minute Pipe Bomb Facebook page. Leave messages and comments on YouTube. We can't do this. We do this show because we love to do it, but the more input you guys give, the more it gives us to chew over, and the more it gives us, to mention you guys.
Yeah, well, every 5 episodes, we're looking to do a special theme. So if there's any themes you do want us to touch on or mention, again, just drop it over on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on the Podbean page. Anything, just let us know.
Happy days.
Right, well, we'll draw the line under the wellness policy.
Done.
Yeah,
that's
finished. Allowed to start making jokes.
Yes.
To be fair, I just want to say how well Dickie's looking in the clothes Jen picked for him tonight. I actually can assume that you did come downstairs in non-Jen approved clothes before you went to the match.
Thank you.
She did phone Anfield, didn't she? And take the pictures down for this man's band from this stadium.
Would like to announce this is Anthony McKenna's last appearance of 30 days.
He's been ever since you mentioned
wellness policy.
That is future endeavours. To be fair, that is very true. I will be taking 30-Minute Pipe Bomb, all its likenesses, artistic license and everything with me. We will be starting a new show next week under the name Glasgow Rangers Football Club, where Dickie Shannon will not be invited. But alright, we're back in business.
We are, let's go. Right, Elimination Chamber tonight. There's only 4 matches slated for it. 4 matches.
The road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And there's 4 matches.
It's got a bit shit for me.
It has been a bit slow, hasn't it?
To be fair, WWE have done an epic fail. Sheamus was advertised for all the things, then all of a sudden Trips went, I want my boy to win Elimination Chamber, and all of a sudden
win the Rumble.
The man who has won the Royal Rumble currently does not have a match tonight.
As bad as that is, as we spoke before offline, it does lead into something that could be really interesting that could happen.
We will bring that up. Right, Dean Mitchell at British Wrestling Radio wants us, we've said we will give him his picks because they're broadcasting tonight as well. It's a bit like Raw and Nitro, this.
Yeah.
We're Raw.
Yeah, but he had, but to be fair, he had Daniel Bryan on the show and he's got a phone line. So right now, they're kind of Raw. We're like Bishop's just taking over Nitro.
We're Raw, we're Heat.
We're not Heat at all.
we can't.
Anyway, seeing as we're the A show.
Yeah. Let's start.
Challenge.
On the 4 matches that we've got, we'll start bottom to top.
Yeah.
What is probably going to, mind you, I can't see this opening the show, but the first one on the list, Beth Phoenix and Tamina Snuka for the Divas match.
Beth Phoenix wins, ready for the match with Carmella.
I do like the way that they're giving it this full title with Snuka at the end.
Yeah.
I do like that. And they keep showing these little videos of it and stuff. Yeah. So I'm liking that. I would like to see her win it, but I'm with Andy on this one. I can't see anything other than the Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix. I don't know who Beth Phoenix.
The only way Tamina Snuka might win this is if count out or DQ.
Yeah, and not the title won't change hands. I think though, if it's going to lead on to the start of Kana's official debut, so to speak, or proper debut,
unless she gets knocked up again between now and Mania.
It could happen. But I'd go for the Phoenix win, and hopefully it'll lead on to a decent feud with Karma. Or what you do?
Phoenix win?
Yeah.
Don't care about.
No, asked. Alright.
I don't think we're asked ourselves. We just wanted to sort of lead into the
feud.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, I've got a bit of. I'm looking forward to Karma being involved and to see what they're going to do with her. Because it went all right when she was coming in, smashing everybody up.
Yeah.
But it had to end.
The whole getting pregnant, breaking down, crying malarkey. That was malarkey.
It was. Yeah.
What I think's going to happen tonight? They'll probably open with the SmackDown Chamber match.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Possibly though, what we were discussing before, Anthony's going for a shit, by the way. What we were discussing before was with Sheamus not having a match and Christian tweeting a little postcard from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He could come out, start marving off about how he would have won the Rumble, blah blah, and then Sheamus comes out and you get a little, either an impromptu match,
Yeah.
or
just a little bit of a
a
scrap.
little bit of a fight gets broken up. Don't think that'll open the show, as I say. I think the SmackDown Chamber will.
Yeah.
But next on the list of matches, and this is the match I'm actually looking forward to mostly of the evening, is Kane versus Cena in a ambulance match.
Yeah.
I'm going for a Kane win.
Right.
I really believe he'll win, just to keep Cena
To
embracing
make
the hate.
him embrace the hate.
Yeah.
I'll echo that. I want a Kane win, and I want Cena to go schizo.
The only problem with that is he'll be in the back of a fucking ambulance. So
No, well, yeah, true, because he can't win, can he?
that's how you've got to win, by putting him in the ambulance in it and driving off.
Does it mean though that Cena won't come out the
No,
ambulance?
it won't.
And give him a hide. And
Yeah,
I want Kane to win to keep it going. The road to Mania's on. Rock isn't going to turn up, so they've got to keep Cena obviously in fresh. So that'll tick it over nicely.
Cena heel turn, Cena win.
Cena heel turn won't happen tonight.
Cena will put Kane in the ambulance, drive the ambulance somewhere,
Run over Zack Ryder on the way.
get in a rig, and just drive it into the ambulance.
Someone's been watching an NWO DVD.
Or drive it off a cliff, but obviously...
I don't know. I don't think the inevitable heel turn. By the way, we called this fucking months ago. We don't think that'll happen this evening.
It needs to happen between now and WrestleMania.
We'll see. No, we can see again. You should listen to the shows because we covered this a few minutes ago. The turn we think will either be him absolutely annihilating Zack Ryder one night, or he'll lose to the Rock at Mania, and then just bitch slap the Rock with chairs and put him through tables and all sorts, just to cement his heel turn. He'll be getting proper legitimate hateful boos before then.
Yeah.
But he'll still be going, you can say what he's like, I'm happy,
I'm still the same
doing,
guy.
You pay to voice your opinion, blah blah, and then that's what we reckon will happen.
Yeah. Once this heel turn is complete, this is going to take him on for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Easy.
So I'm going for Kane. I'm going for a Kane win.
I'm going to go for the Kane win.
Cena win.
What about you? And
Cena win.
Cena win. All right.
Split there completely.
Yeah.
But Cena always wins.
But he doesn't.
Yeah. He lost at Mania last year.
For me personally, the reason I'm saying a Cena win, it makes no sense having the only half of the main event who's actually working and building the main event up.
The main event's Sheamus, isn't it? Sorry.
But that's the thing though. That main event doesn't actually need building up. The only way that main event will be built up anymore is when The Rock can be asked to get his fucking ass down to a Raw.
When he's not busy juicing up.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think to keep Cena busy.
If Rock drives Cena out in the ambulance, just came in the match.
Yeah, because it's just
It
an
doesn't
ambulance.
matter who drives it off. You've got to get them in the ambulance. The ambulance has got to be driven off.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, could you see Rock turning up just to do that? Maybe.
No.
I saw Rock tweeted something ages ago saying he had to get himself back for the chamber match.
No, I don't think he's going to be there at all, mate, to be honest.
I'd be very shocked if he turned up tonight.
I'm calling it now, Rock tonight.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right then.
I'll say Rock on Raw.
What we think is going to be the opener then for the pay-per-view, the SmackDown Chamber match. D-Bry, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, Big Show, The Great Shannon, Carly, and Santino Marella.
Little interesting tidbit though, we found out before. Santino Marella was given that name as a little bit of an homage to Gorilla Monsoon, whose surname was Marella. We found that out before.
We did.
Thought we'd let you know.
I thought it was a nice little fact, that.
What were you saying towards the end of the wellness policy? Right, looking at the SmackDown, you'd have told me 12 months ago.
If you'd have said Daniel Bryan was going to be
Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, Big Show, Carly, and Santino Marella with the 6 men in the Elimination Chamber, I'd have laughed at you.
The pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
Pause for a deep breath. Laughed a bit more.
You'd have agreed with Big Show.
Big Show was borderline because if you push Big Show right, he could be a legitimate champion again.
You wouldn't have been surprised if Great Khali was in it a year ago.
I would have.
Yeah, I would have.
Because he's been in title runs and titles.
Yeah,
You're only saying it through family loyalty, though.
Yeah, true.
I'll tell Wade Barrett though, 12 months ago, from Nexus and the core, he was still fair. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say he was main event material.
Or had the stigma of two screwed up groups behind him.
Yeah, but he was lower. He was lower top card for me.
I just think Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes. Man, even 12 months ago, you might not have even had Cody Rhodes in there.
Definitely not, mate.
You know, the first four guys you mentioned, Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, Big Show, they're fine. It's the last two that I haven't even really got an actual issue with Santino Marella, because there is always one person in it that's got absolutely no chance of winning. We even covered something before as well. He could go down the Kofi Kingston route, where he gets attacked before by possibly a returning Christian.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. And the Great Khali, you know he's not going to win it. You know Santino's not going to win it. You're almost certain Big Show and Cody Rhodes are not going to win it. And again, even more so Wade Barrett. But they could.
Yeah.
The only two definite not winning it are Khali and Marella.
Morella's going to be first out, Khali's going to be second out.
I can see Marella getting...
I reckon Khali will be there last, you know.
Do you think so?
I reckon he'll come out fourth.
Or Marella could be last, and that's where Bryan picks up the win from. Because it's going to be chicken shit, he'll win. My prediction is Bryan to retain.
Yeah, Bryan to retain.
Bryan to retain leading to Sheamus at Mania.
Yeah.
I just got a feeling he's going to get the Cobra and pin Bryan.
They're going to put
the title on Santino Marella.
No, I don't think Santino will win it. I reckon Santino will eliminate Bryan.
Well, yeah, it's whoever wins.
Oh no, he's saying Santino will eliminate Bryan. He's not saying Santino.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So we're going to get a new champion.
So we're asking you who's winning it, not who do you think will pin Daniel Bryan.
Jesus Christ.
Go on, who
does Jem reckon will win it?
I'm going to go with bigger picture. Which one of them six would be the best with Sheamus?
Jesus Christ.
I'd go Wade Barrett to win.
Wade Barrett.
Fair play. And do you know what? I would love to see that as a WrestleMania.
I'd love Rhodes to win. I really would.
Dual champ.
I think a dual. Would they knock out a dual champ?
To knock out the old Intercontinental title for him. Why not give a little dual champion?
Yeah, but the thing is though, it's the wrong belt to be retroing.
You can't retro that belt.
It doesn't need to be retroed.
But if Cody Rhodes is going to, having retroed the old IC title back, I'd love him to rather to win the WWE title back and then get rid of that spinner belt.
Taking nostalgia purposes away from it, Cody Rhodes is a dual champ.
It's a hell of a shot.
Fucking great.
It was done with Warrior, where he then gave up the Intercontinental title pretty much straight away.
Yeah, he did.
I would love to see Rhodes defend
a dual champ.
Doing a little double duty of pay-per-views and that.
Imagine that at Mania. Both belts on the line.
That'd be awesome.
Makes the choice easier for Shane. It's one belt or two.
I'd even have like a two double match.
Yeah.
If you
remember when
belt.
Who lost? Was it
Angle?
Angle lost.
Well, he won't be in the Intercontinental title without being pinned.
Yeah.
Benoit and Jericho, because Jericho pinned Benoit in the first wall and then rolls reverse in the second.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't mind something like that. I'm still going to go for the Daniel Bryan chicken shit victory.
Yeah. D-Bry win.
But I would love Cody Rhodes to win it and be a dual champion.
Yeah. I never thought to tell you again. I mentioned it earlier. 12 months ago, I'd have seen The Miz as an absolute lock for the Elimination Chamber. Now he's in there as a filler. His stock has fallen.
He's on that list, the same as the Big Show.
Yeah.
He could win it.
Yeah.
But he
probably won't.
I think though, now we'll move on to the main event, which is definitely going to be the Raw Chamber match. CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, Chris Jericho, Miz, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston. The Miz's downfall is all his own doing. It's all his own fault.
Less than 12 months ago, he headlined and won at WrestleMania against John Cena.
With Rock as the ref.
Within.
Yeah. Oh no, he wasn't the ref.
He just attacked Cena at the end.
On Monday Night Raw, when they did that, when I first watched it, I thought it was pointless. And what they did, when I watched it back again, that podium thing, they picked up Kofi Kingston, they plugged Punk and Jericho, and they buried The Miz.
Yeah.
The Miz got publicly buried. and I didn't see it first time around. When I watched it back, he got exposed as Chris Jericho light.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he got found out for what he truly is. For me, I can see Jericho winning the title.
Yeah, me too.
I would love Jericho to win
Have
it.
Jericho to go into Mania as the champion, because Jericho's been saying a lot on Twitter about what Fozzy are doing in the summer. This is a short-term hit. It makes more sense for Jericho to leave with the title tonight.
Rematch at Mania.
And Punk wins it at Mania.
Rematch clause.
That way then Jericho passes his torch on to Punk.
Yeah, as the best in the world. Yeah, I'd go with that. The Jericho win for a setup of Jericho Punk at Mania.
And then let Punk and Ziggler go on into the distance. I think a Punk Ziggler program moving on from there.
Yeah.
You don't chat sense very often, do you, mate?
So, because this is what
that's a fucking good shout.
This is what Elimination Chamber
Well, I was
is
going to
for.
go the other way.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, corrects any mistakes.
Saying it tonight and losing it to Jericho at Mania, but that makes a lot of sense. I'm still going with the Punk.
We have just out of spite.
Yeah. But that is a fucking good shout, mate.
But then again,
don't
forget, I was the lone voice of sense when the vignettes were going on. I said it was Jericho.
Everyone knew it was going to be Jericho. You read that on the internet.
Go on, what
I said it. So
but what I was saying was, Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber is just there to fix any mistakes and correct
wrong
things for Mania.
That's it. Yeah, it is again essentially it's a setup for WrestleMania.
See again, the took what could be an awesome idea and fucking ruined it by making a whole pay-per-view of it. No one wants to see 2 Elimination Chambers matches in one night.
It's a lot, isn't it, to take on?
You want one. You want one, and you want it maybe once a year.
It's the closest concept they've ever had to War Games.
Do you know what? I can see as well happening in that main event match? I could see the Miz and Jericho being the last 2. I think the Miz did get buried, but again, apart from being backstage, he's being an ass. He knows that this is going to again. He's going to have to reinvent himself. He's got to. There's no fucking 2 ways about it. Do you think this could be him leading on to a change in character? You never know. He might even go back to doing something tag team. The Miz.
I can see Miz going first.
Think so? No, I think him and Truth will stay in for a little while, giving each other a bit of a hiding. I could see Kingston going first.
I mean, Miz being eliminated first. I don't think. I don't know. I mean, it is one of the matches where
it's an interesting one because there's a lot that can happen there that'll again keep you interested and keep you watching it, not putting it on fast forward.
How about also thinking
don't forget
along the
Jericho's
lines
in
of
last as well.
Super Cena?
that's a
What's stopping Cena turning heel tonight, beating Kane, and then Cena beating the fuck out of one of the faces and taking their place in the chamber?
I don't think Rock Cena needs the title, because if you've got Cena in there, it's a lock. Cena's walking out with the belt. Makes no point putting the SmackDown one is more prime for that scenario.
For a surprise entrance for someone to get whooped. Carly or Morella.
I could see the world title match going triple threat at WrestleMania. Especially if Christian went in and won it.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Bryan had won his natural rematch.
And Sheamus has still got his shout for the belt.
And then if you book in SmackDown, you have Daniel Bryan v Sheamus. If Bryan beat Sheamus is in. If Daniel Bryan or Bryan v Christian. Not for the titles. Bryan beats Christian. It's a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Won't be the first time it's been done for the world title.
No. It would, wouldn't it?
No.
WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
That didn't happen though.
No, we're not pipebomb. No, it did for us. We saw it. It was Benoit v Triple H v Shawn. If you bought WrestleMania 20, you saw Triple H v Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 20. We've got the special deluxe versions where Chris Benoit was involved and won the title. There we go.
We can mention him. Boosh. Have that.
Go on.
Oh, yeah.
I
want to do Vicky Guerrero.
Vicky, no token NWO
comment? He doesn't. No.
I sort of do a different one every week, I think.
That's not pipe bomb bingo then, is it?
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's not pipe bomb. Yeah, you don't do pipe bomb bingo.
You turn up to like 3 out of the 10.
I know what I do every week.
Okay.
At Shanna's 007.
That's the one! Hey!
Awesome.
Okay, we've kind of
Austin WrestleMania.
right, and none of these shit posters that I've seen of Austin versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, let that go.
Alright, going on to WrestleMania 29. Anyone surprised for two reasons? That one, they're going to have two WrestleManias in a row in the New York, New Jersey area, or two, that they have announced the arena before WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, because normally it's just after the pay-per-view.
They normally first mention it during the WrestleMania broadcast itself.
Have WWE officially mentioned it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the
No, that's fine. I didn't know that. Because I know some New York footballer. That's fine. I know some New York footballer mentioned it on Twitter.
Because apparently The Rock has tweeted on Facebook a black and white picture of him the day of the press conference, sat in the MetLife.
Yeah.
Saying, and it said MetLife Centre, April whatever, it's either March 31st or April 2nd, 2013. MetLife Centre, WrestleMania 29, Rock will be bringing it. So there's talk of The Rock being at WrestleMania 29 as well. They're talking Rock Cena 2 at WrestleMania 29. No, for the...
If Rock is back full time, or
that's the only way it can work.
There is talk of Rock doing SummerSlam. Fighting at SummerSlam. So
the thing is, he's got...
Hang on, but then you have Rock Cena 3 at WrestleMania 29 in the rubber match. Whoever wins at WrestleMania this year loses at SummerSlam, unless Rock... If
Rock will win 30, because they'll all want 30.
Yeah, 30.
30 is massive.
Wouldn't shock me if 30 was a 5-hour job, you know. Seriously.
Well, I could see it being in excess. It's going to be at least 6-7 matches. Maybe 30. I think Taker's done this year, mate.
This year.
We think he's done this year.
Because he wants immortality.
Unless he does what he's done this year and just buggers off at the end of it.
Do you reckon he's bald?
He is bald.
Yeah.
No, because I think he's got cutting his hair.
Because he's got real bad syrup.
Yeah,
like
his hair.
Dead Man Inc. days.
Yeah, his hair. He shaved it all off, didn't he? Earlier on, like last year, right after Mania, and it's not grown back as long as they were expecting it to. So that's why he's wearing either fucking dodgy extensions or a dodgy wig.
No, he cut it on the promo.
Yeah, we saw the.
Yes, I know, Richard, but listen to what I'm saying. His hair's not long enough for it to be down here in a year. So they're having him do that. He's obviously cutting the wig because his hair's not this long.
No, yeah, I understand that.
So, yeah.
I think this is Taker's last year.
I would like it not to be, but then I don't want Taker being out for a year.
But the thing is, he can't come back full time.
No, God, no.
And I don't think.
I think it's been proven he can't come back part time.
No, he's 52, 53. He can't even come back and do a 2-3 month run.
He's got half a knee, no hips.
Look, to be fair, it showed so much last year in Mania how much he's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still managed the flying over the top rope though.
He did,
do again.
But to be fair,
this year.
I reckon the end was botched and that's why I got him in the Hell's Gate. I think he was done on the floor, hurt.
Possibly, yeah.
And he had to, and he said, "Get that sledgehammer, come here, because I can't get up." I think he was done.
Very possibly, mate. Very possibly. But looking for the fact that he had to be helped from the ring, which has never happened before.
No, I think he's we've said 20-0 done.
I can see Taker being carried out again this year.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. The same thing.
Hall of Fame, WrestleMania 29, first name on the list, Undertaker.
I'd hold him off till 30.
This is true. Macho Man may come in at 30.
No, Macho Man next year.
Only if he.
Wouldn't you want to save him to 30 though?
They won't.
I think 30 because it's so special. I think that's going to be.
I think next year you're going to see Shawn join the 2-ring club. I think DX are going to go in next year.
Only if Triple H bows out this year.
Triple H again. That shoot promo. That was part shoot. Yeah. That was the first time he's publicly acknowledged he's got the keys to the kingdom.
Yes. And he came out as well doing the DX thing, the pose in the ring.
He did it and then went back into corporate mode.
Yeah.
I can see both him and Taker walking off into the... I don't know so much Triple H fully walking off into the sunset. But
just on-screen personality.
No, I don't even think he'll be on screen. I just don't think he'll fight. anymore. I don't think you'll have matches anymore.
No.
You've got one of the marquee matches at WrestleMania where the two men have wrestled 3 times on aggregate since last year's WrestleMania, and Triple H is 3-0 up on them.
I think I like the way he did it with Triple H because he's just doing a typical play it down. They're going to fight at Mania. What if he really did swerve it and say no?
I like the way Taker's begging him for the match.
Yeah, that's it. What if he just kept turning around?
No, but no one has ever told Taker no.
No, exactly. I think he should stick with it. Imagine if he turned him down. What would he do then? What if it turned out it was fucking Kane and Undertaker? And that was him bowing out to 20.
I don't ever want to see Kane versus The Undertaker in a match ever again.
But then again, you would say you don't see Triple H Taker.
I don't, but it'll be better than Kane and fucking Undertaker.
I like how they've done it. I like
the way you're still saying no.
Ben, they've done the Jericho return.
Yeah,
done this
I do love the no.
I
just want to see how long it goes on.
It would be awesome. Obviously, it wouldn't happen. But if he kept saying no, like you said, until Mania 30, that would be
just put it off.
Well, for 2 years, and then have 55-year-old Undertaker coming out,
dude.
Why not? I know you've got 55-year-olds.
He'll go fight this year.
Oh, we know this.
No, I know what you're saying, but
this is Richard Shannon. He only shows up once in a while and he makes silly comments.
Nice to cheat to slag people off when they know shit.
Yeah, Shannon's that by
Don't worry, we will all be unfollowing by the end of the show.
Well, we've definitely done Elimination Chamber out, and I'm glad we've brought it back to a fun podcast from the good serious topic we had.
We have absolutely
Elimination Chamber.
This is
a world record podcast at present, running at 1:21:27. But intro and outro music, we're probably looking at 1:23, arguably.
Are we looking at any other business for tonight, gents?
We're going to be doing some interviews with some guys in a show next week, so we'll get them online. We'll get them online, and we'll try and get on to as many guys as we can there.
I said I was going to get it in there.
They're all good people, so.
I said I was going to get it in there, shut up.
Alright, well, closing out for this week. Looking forward to tonight, and next week we'll review it. We'll go over what we saw, what's changed in the game, the official next week countdown.
Is the Carling Cup final next Sunday.
Should we do it Saturday then?
Well, I was going to say, should we do it? We can do it Saturday.
I'll be an Evertonian. I'll be doing a solo pipe bomb next week.
No, I'm happy doing it.
No. Then Mick whistles one before he goes abroad.
That doesn't count.
No,
I'm happy to do it on Saturday.
And to little Callum, we hope your charity show went well tonight.
Yeah, mate. I'm sorry we couldn't get there with various family things permitting, but
we hope you had a belt. Hope all the guys stay safe, and we'll see you whatever talent.
Yeah, we'll see you all
next Friday.
On Friday. All right, peace out all.
See you later.
Bye.